Well, welcome to the show. This is our view from the bench. Well, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I'm Brendan, snack guy for the freshman tennis team.
And I'm Corey, towel boy for the debate team. Happy Monday, like Brendan said. And how was your long weekend, dude, since we had the holiday?
Yeah, it was nice. Actually, like Thursday, I didn't even know it was Labor Day weekend. So I was honestly surprised leaving work on Thursday when everyone, hey, enjoy the long weekend, because most of us work from home on Fridays. So everyone was like, enjoy the long weekend. I was like, what, we have tomorrow off or something? And I almost luckily clarified that it was Friday or Monday instead of Friday. Otherwise, I would have missed work Friday. But yeah, I was surprised, honestly. So honestly, didn't do much. Took advantage just to relax. Hung out with my dad a little bit, hung out with the wife a little bit. Some friends, just an all-around good weekend. What'd you do?
Pretty much a lot of the same. I did work Saturday real quick for just a day shift at the store, but pretty boring day. And then, yeah, chilling yesterday, chilled most of the day today until we decided to jump on and do this podcast.
Yeah, true. Wednesday we hung out, and we hung out a little bit longer because, well, we hung out virtually. We live close in like probably most people's eyes, but in Southern California everything's far away. So
yeah, for sure.
But we hung out digitally to do our fantasy football draft.
Heck yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, fun. It was quick, right?
Dude, way faster than I feel like most drafts I've ever been a part of. Every time I looked up, I was like, oh, it's my pick again. And I was in the middle. So it was like, I know we're doing a snake draft, but just like every 5 seconds, like, dang, it's my pick already? What the heck?
Yeah, not enough time to like do research. Who's taken,
No.
who's left, what you got to do. Yeah. So it was quick. I think a lot of the guys two of them are auto drafting because they were both working. So 2 of the 8, we have a 10-team league. I don't know why I said 8. 2 of the 10, so 8 of us were in there manually drafting. And I think it was just everybody kind of knew who they wanted. And for some reason, somehow, even we were talking, hey, don't take that guy. No, that's my guy. And most of the time, it was never the guy that we always want. Whoever was next always got who they wanted. So maybe that's also what made it like go. It was pretty rare that there was an instance where someone was taken that maybe the next person was looking for. So
yeah, the only
maybe that helped.
The only one like that for me was Jonathan Taylor, because I kept waiting like, do I grab him just because and have him on the bench and see what happens? And then before I could do it, I think somebody took him like the round I was thinking about actually doing it. And I was like, too late. I missed my opportunity.
Yeah, my buddy Jonathan actually took him. He one of the ones that was auto drafting. So you actually got beat by a computer, my friend.
That makes it even worse. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, well, yeah. So sorry to say, but that's what happened. But what we wanted to do was kind of go over the rosters, who we got. What we're going to show you on the screen is actually the draft order as well. So, I mean, it's helpful to see who we have on the roster when it's sitting in its little slots that says quarterback and receiver and stuff like that. But it says what they are on here, and this also gives you an insight into the draft order. So, let's get to checking these out here. So here's the teams respectively.
Ooh. Feel pretty good about my team. Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Although Yahoo's review of my draft wouldn't tell you otherwise.
What did you get on your grade again?
Dude, they gave me a D+. They said I was like too running back heavy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hello, have you not seen the game? Running backs do a lot of things.
Yeah, true. And get hurt, so you got to have options. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually good. Most times when I do well in a season, I get a bad grade, which is not necessarily a good omen for me this season because I got an A- on mine.
Wow.
So I'm kind of nervous about it because normally Yahoo doesn't tell me that I do a good job and I do well. And this time they told me I did a good job, so I'm kind of skeptical on how well I'm going to do. But as you can see on the screen, we have our teams. Do you want to kind of go over maybe like quick draft strategies on what you do? This is a standard league, half PPR with the normal slots: 1 quarterback, 2 receiver, 2 running back, a tight end, flex, kicker, defense. Just no individual defensive players or anything like that. No 2 quarterback league or anything like that. So general draft. What is your kind of like general strategy that you would roll with?
Well, as Yahoo Sports would tell you, my D+ grade, I'm very running back heavy, so that's like my first thing. My first pick is always a running back, I feel like, especially if I can get someone who does a little bit of catching and rushing. So the more you can get out of one player, the better, right? Yes. And then normally I would probably go 2 running backs and then a wide receiver and kind of work my way from there. But with Patrick Mahomes, I accidentally kind of broke my own rule and took a quarterback really early, but I took him in the second, but also somebody took Josh Allen even before that. So that kind of got
Took
me a
him
little,
second overall.
okay, see,
Art,
that got me
what are you
spooked a little
doing?
bit. Yeah, that got me spooked. I was like, oh, wait, quarterbacks are going to be taken a lot sooner than I thought. And I kind of wanted to get one I didn't have to worry about. So this year I kind of broke my own
In
rule
my
and took the
opinion, if there's
quarterback
anyone
earlier.
that you're jumping for, if there's anyone that you're jumping for, it might as well be Patrick Mahomes. If you're gonna
Right?
break a rule, that'd be the person you should break it for.
And
So
I'm so
at least that makes
confident in
sense.
him as my quarterback. I don't have a backup. I will figure out a backup when his bye week shows up. That's my problem at that point in
Uh-huh. Yeah.
time.
You could play nobody, it'd be fine. It's
Yeah,
worth it every other
I
every
might
other
be
week
better
he's on the
off.
roster. Exactly. To be honest with you. So
But after I get the running backs and wide receivers pretty much solidified up as far as starting like 2 and 2, then I go more to like looking at the tight end. Normally, probably like I don't know, 8th round, 7th round, something like that. But I feel like this year with Kelsey going early and
that was my
tight ends
wife, yeah.
doing a lot more than they ever do or ever have before in the past, that they go a lot earlier. So I think a couple went early and it got me a little spooked early. So it's like, oh man, I should be watching out for tight ends earlier than I thought with this league. You guys are
Yeah,
different in this league.
Yeah, so everybody in this league is fairly new to fantasy football. A lot of them pay attention to football, but a lot of them are fairly new to fantasy football. My wife has played a couple times, but most of the teams that she plays on, I kind of help with. So this is
Mm.
her time. That's entirely her draft team. So she's running it this time. So everything is on her. I think she had a pretty good draft too. I didn't see what letter grade she got. I'll have to check it out.
Oh yeah, I'll have to
But
ask
yeah,
her.
that's a okay. So that's good. I agree with you though. This league is learning still.
Yeah, for sure. And the last thing is always a defense. Probably like what do we have, 15 rounds? So probably like round
Yeah, 15.
12 or so is when you kind of want to get one. I know a couple people took one in like the 10th round, maybe ninth one or two early. It was
Yeah.
scary, but I just figured tied defenses you can almost go week to week sometimes, especially if we only have 10 teams in our league and most people only keep one defense on their roster. Although I
Agreed.
have two on mine right now after the draft, but that's a different discussion.
Don't
That's
even
my
stick
week
to your
one
own
strategy,
strategy.
dude. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
different.
got you. Actually, you did explain that strategy to me. Would you like to explain it quickly?
Yeah, so okay, so I picked the Jets for the defense
As you see
overall,
here,
as I
yeah,
think they're going to be very good for the whole season. But the
week
first
nine
game they're
or
playing
round
is
nine.
against Buffalo, and Buffalo is a division opponent. They know each other really well, so I don't know if they're
Have
going to
a
do
good
that
offense.
well defensively for me for points for fantasy. So I went ahead and picked up the Washington Commanders defense because they're playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are starting who knows at
Sorry,
quarterback at this moment.
they're trash. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not saying the
so
player's trash. I'm sorry. I was saying the team is not well. Like it's not good.
yeah, it's not going to be a very good season in Arizona. So I feel like Washington, who Ron Rivera is a defensive coach, and if Bieniemy really wants to show off what he can do as a coordinator on his own without Reed, and maybe they come out and score big, they win big in Arizona. So I feel like maybe the defense will get a little loose. They'll get some sacks.
Maybe a score.
I'm hoping at least, man. So yeah, so I figured this week I'll keep them, and then I'll reevaluate for week 2. So I kind
That
of
makes
broke
sense.
my own rule for during a draft, but this was post draft that I made that decision. So
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, mine, if I had to kind of break it down, I guess my main strategy for the draft is kind of something that you touched on a little bit but flexibility. Just be flexible because sometimes you'll be in a draft, like you pointed out, where things start flying off a little bit earlier than you thought. Certain
for
players
sure,
are taken or positions are taken above what they're normally drafted at. But in my opinion, it's always best to go by best available and then try to fit it to the need. If you have two running backs and a wide receiver, but there's a great running back out and an average wide receiver, just take the great running back. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
my is I guess kind of like when you're building a team is grab talent. So the main thing after those two is picking running back first. The my From what I've found, each team has probably maybe not a one receiver, but uh, at least two decent receivers. Sometimes there's a third one that comes up out of nowhere. Injuries happen throughout the year. Receivers are constantly kind of popping up, and there's so many on each team. Whereas running back is kind of more of if you're a running back, if you own a running back that's in a committee, you're a little bit kind of screwed. It's best to have a running back who is like the main guy, like a Derrick Henry kind of thing. So that's why I prioritize it because you got to kind of pick those. After that, I'm with you. It's wide receiver, kind of alternating between them and trying to find best availability. As you can see here, I have Justin Jefferson, Derrick Henry, Jalen Waddle, and Jameer Gibbs. So it's wide receiver, running back, and then another running back after that, Brees Hall, another running back with that, and James
See,
Conner, a wide receiver, and Michael Pittman. So I'm with you Heavy running back, heavy wide
So
receiver.
what did you do differently than I that got me a D and got you an A? What the heck, man?
You know what? The only thing I can think of is a lot of people are kind of down. People think that Debo may not be at because he is not in the running back position as much anymore. He's not the guy that's getting the ball as much. So maybe Debo is kind of as a number 3 overall. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I still think he's going to get the ball a ton. But because Christian's here, a lot of people are like,
Yeah,
oh,
true.
what's going to happen to the running back? He's not in the backfield anymore. He's only wide receiver. And technically, maybe Brandon Ayuk is really good. I don't know. And then the
Which
other
is
thing I
kind of
can think of now that,
funny if you think
yeah,
about
what?
it, because wasn't Debo mad about having to play running back all the time? That was like a big thing about the contract.
True, true. Well, he got paid and now he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I
guess
guess he
he gets a
won.
win-win. It's just fantasy owners. Like I said, I'm not saying he's going to do bad, but maybe that's what they're thinking. The only other thing I can think of is I took J.K. Dobbins last year pretty early, and it didn't pan out well because he didn't do anything. So,
That happens.
I don't know. Normally, though, I actually am looking for a tight end or a quarterback around the 4th round because I like to make sure that I'm getting a top one. Those two are so tiered, especially tight end. There's like 5 and then the rest of the league.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
unless you're getting one of the good ones, and honestly, me drafting in the 8th round, especially like you said, Kelsey going 7th overall, I believe, definitely didn't help. So I got David Njoku, not bad, and hopefully Deshaun Watson needs a little scapegoat to kind of toss it to. So,
Yeah, that's not a
but
bad one.
really, it's just being flexible, man. That's kind of what I got. So I feel like there's a lot of similarities in our draft guidelines, I guess.
Yeah, the only biggest difference I would think is when it comes to our kickers, if what we both agree to or agree not on drafting, which
I got a question for you about that. Actually, I have 2 questions for you. I think you had a couple questions for me about my strategy. So let me get. You didn't draft a kicker at all. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. What's up with that?
It's a bold
yeah,
strategy,
so the
Cotton.
way I
Let's see
look
if it
at
pays
it
off for
is
him.
most kickers at the end of the year are all kind of the same unless you get Justin Tucker. Beyond
Exactly.
that, everyone kind of is average at the end of the year. So I feel like it's one of those you can either go week to week or once the draft's over, you can if there's only 10 people in the league and 9 of us take a kicker, there's still 20 plus kickers for me to choose from that are starters. So I can find one
Yeah.
later. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I doubt people are taking 2. That's true. I took
Absolutely.
Jake Elliott in the 13th round. I was running out of necessary people. And honestly, I like to try my draft strategy is to draft a kicker and start seeing as long as there's still a good offense. The kicker has to be if the kicker's on the team, he's good. The
Yeah.
NFL people they don't have time for bad kickers. So if you're bad, you're off the team. They don't care. They'll find somebody else to start kicking. So if you're on the team, you're most likely somewhat accurate. There's some that are better than others. Obviously, Justin Tucker can kick from like 90 yards and drill it. But as long as my thing is find a kicker that's on a good offense because they're
Yeah.
driving the ball downfield, and if they're not scoring a touchdown for you, get the PAT. It's honestly even better, right? Sometimes they get held out and you're getting the field goal. So that's the only thing I would say about kicker is that. You said you had a question, at least maybe 1 or 2 for me. What was your
Well, the
question?
first one I was going to mention or ask you was about your tight ends situation and going early or late, but you already kind of mentioned and talked about that. So the other one I was going to ask you about was your quarterback because, like, I know I took Mahomes with my second overall pick, but you waited till the
That's
ninth
Patrick
round.
Mahomes.
Yeah, you waited till the ninth round to take it, and not only that, you took Tua in the ninth round.
Yeah. Well, if we go back to our AFC episode, check it out. Go see it. AFC predictions. Not that's the episode where we already touched on NFC, and so AFC actually has the Super Bowl predictions. Go check out who we think actually wins. But that is where I make the prediction that Tua stays healthy all year and leads them to the division title. So if he's going to
Okay.
do that above those teams that are there, then I'm kind of running with that as well. I'll give it to you a little bit because I did a little bit of research after I looked at the draft position of it. I yes ish. I think the one person that I definitely missed out on was Justin Herbert. He
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, like some of the people that you had mentioned that went a little bit late. Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, they were all taken in the 4th round before my pick. And my
Yeah.
strategy is 4th or later I start looking. So
Oh,
they were taken before I even had the chance. The people that were still really up for grabs were Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. And Joe Burrow went before I could even have it. And then I probably should have taken Herbert, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to wait. I think maybe enough people have taken quarterbacks, and there's still a couple that I think I'm comfortable with. And Tua was one of them. You actually,
yeah.
though, spooked me, and that's why you see here. Last, I took Jared Goff because you're like, oh, wow, Tua. I was like, oh, shoot, what's wrong with Tua? You're like, yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's
and I
one
was like,
thing
oh,
to predict
shoot.
he's going to make it through the whole season in our AFC season preview, but to
Mm-hmm.
go into your fantasy and draft him and like that, I was like, wow,
That's the
okay. So
Hawaiian blood, bro, right here. You see this? right there, baby.
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
believe
But
to it. I believe.
I think Goff is a good backup to have on your roster for
Yeah.
fantasy if it
I
does
think he's
start.
honestly, I'm surprised I was able to get him with the last, I mean, not the very last pick. Obviously, the last pick is
Yeah,
150, but in the very last round, I feel like he's probably a top 10 fantasy quarterback, maybe 10. But
last year for sure.
yeah, so I mean, this year's another year in the offense. So that's the thing. I like it, but other than that, I guess we will kind of
See what
see how the
happens in
season
fantasy.
plays
Yeah,
out.
I think I'm playing Rocky week 1, right? Am I not?
Are you?
I think so, right? What's her name? What's her team name?
Zay, my
Yeah.
name,
Yep. I'm pretty sure I'm
because she
playing
has Zay
Rocky week 1.
Flowers
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
from
I'm playing her.
the
So
Ravens.
we'll be
Okay.
enemies in week 1. Way to go.
Awesome. So, okay, well, let's continue on with the NFL. We'll move out of fantasy and into real life. There was kind of a funny scene. It's kind of broadcasted, obviously, on because the Jets are in Hard Knocks, but there was a lot of talk about it last week as well. When Aaron Rodgers finally played a preseason game for the Jets, he took I think it was one, maybe two series, probably one.
I
Knowing
think
them.
1.
Yeah. Scored a touchdown, of course. That's just like Aaron Rodgers is. But he had an interesting interaction with one of the Giants linebackers or defensive ends. I actually don't know what the position was. Apologies. And you want to check this out, dude? It's kind of crazy to see.
Let's check it out.
It's just you see his
It's
like
kind of all this
sarcasm.
behind the scenes, especially on the field, talking smack and stuff with each other. I always love this stuff.
It's so fun. It's so fun. So here is the video itself. Let's check this out.
Bootleg out to the left, flipping it left. McCole Hardman.
Bro, yeah. Show some respect, bro. Come on, what the is that? 5 damn shit? I don't even know who you are, bro. I don't know who you don't. Never heard of you.
And the officials had to separate Jihad Ward and Aaron Rodgers. Drops back, lobs one, front left pylon. It is caught. Garrett Wilson. That's a Jet touchdown.
Poke the bear. I ain't doing that, bro. I'm not heard of you. And I gave him the line that's uncome back with a bow. I said, I don't even know who you are. But he said, I don't know who you are. I said, well.
Yeah, there's no way you didn't know who that was, man. Come on.
Right, exactly. That I mean, everybody knows who Aaron Rodgers is. It's freaking Aaron Rodgers. So yeah,
Right?
I agree. There's no way he
But,
doesn't know who he is.
I mean, I love
that
this
was
stuff. Like you said,
that
I
was
love all this behind the
hilarious, was it
scenes
not?
stuff. This is what I mean. It's a Hard Knocks thing, so it's even better because they get the full access during preseason and stuff behind the scenes that we don't ever get to see. But I just love this stuff, seeing the players and how they interact, like in the training rooms, how they do all their like prep work in like the quarterback rooms and how they discuss and watch over the film and the coaching. Like, I just love all this stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love Rodgers' like just attitude, I guess you could say. It's not like he just has that suave about him, I guess. This is like prime Aaron Rodgers right here. The hit was late, dude. I mean, he was standing there for a while, and it's freaking preseason, dude. Like, chill out, man.
Exactly.
If that was even a regular game, that was a little bit. I mean, it wasn't a hard hit, so it's not. I don't think it should be a flag, but it definitely was like uncalled for. So
yeah, and like we talked about, if he only played one drive, that means it was the first quarter, probably within the first 5 minutes that this took. Like, this isn't the fourth quarter at the end when all the backups are in fighting for jobs. Come on, man.
Exactly. So, it's the first. If Aaron Rodgers is still in, that means it's first team, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So calm down. Which who knows if that guy even made the team? Speaking of, it's been cuts. All the rosters have been cut. It's time to start the real games on Thursday, man. It's actually time for football.
You know, we've been talking about this since we've started this show. We started it basically in the heart of baseball season.
Yeah.
And as much as I love baseball, football and basketball are my 1 and 2. So I've been looking forward to this time for a minute. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see the games, and I'm super excited to get this just everything kind of started, man.
Well, I want to.
I know
not
one
only
of
that. I want to see if we can get our predictions correct.
Ooh, yeah, for like division winners and obviously our playoff brackets.
Heck yeah, I want to see how right we can be. Hopefully we at least get okay, there's 8 divisions. We got to get at least 1 or 2 right. I'm going to feel terrible.
No, man, we need more. Between all of us? Oh, okay. Each of us need to get 1
if I go 0 for 8, I'm going to feel real bad.
No, dude, I want to get I need to get half. If I'm not getting half, dude, I'm not doing my job. I need to be looking into this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? This is like what I love and what I want. I'm getting half right. I'm telling you. Though I did kind of go
I
out on
hope
a
so.
limb, man. Some of mine are kind of.
Yeah, that Chicago one, especially, is the one I think of.
Hey, and the Chicago and the New York Giants one. Those are the ones I'm most nervous about.
Although we both
The rest of
the
them,
Saints, so
comfortable. Yeah, the rest of them I'm comfortable. We do have other stuff that we have predicted though.
heck yeah,
So
we decided that we're going to go ahead and pick each individual end of the year awards. So offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and we're going to go ahead and give our picks and why we think that they are the guy that's going to win the award.
the NFL honors. I know we're looking ahead, man. I know we're looking ahead, but that's what we're trying to do here. We've already predicted the Super Bowl, so we got to predict this now. We've chosen basically the main awards. There might be some other ones, like especially the sponsored ones,
Yeah.
you know. But the main awards we've chosen, and we'll reveal our picks here. The odds here are provided by FanDuel. When I looked this up was the other day, so they may have changed, but this is basically kind of who we are running with. So, defensive rookie of the year, we've got Jalen Carter and Joey Porter Jr. You took
Joey Porter Jr. I think that he's going to be really good. I mean, not only we all know his dad obviously played in the NFL for the Steelers as a linebacker. He plays cornerback, so it's not the same position or anything. But the fact that he's going into the NFL already kind of knowing the way of life as far as an NFL player goes and what to expect, because I'm sure his dad has been there and told him enough. But also, not only that, he's playing with T.J. Watt, who's a defensive player just 2 years ago. So if Pittsburgh plays defense like they normally do, and T.J. Watt does his job up front on the defensive line, then I'm thinking Porter in the backfield as a corner is going to get a lot of interceptions, which if that's the case and the Steelers are winning, then he's going to be right in the chase for the defensive rookie of the year.
There you go. I like it. I like the bet too. The odds, man. I like
Right?
you. I like you stretching there. I think he's going to be great. Sometimes these stories, people, I feel like they overlook. Now, sometimes it does go the other way, but sometimes I feel like they overlook kids from other athletes as like he's probably not going to be as good as his dad. So
Yeah.
but I'm glad that he was kind of taken, and I'm glad that he went to the Steelers. I mean, come on, dude. He had to go to the Steelers, right?
Well, not only that, if I remember correctly, was he taken 32nd overall? So
Oh yeah.
it's not like he was a fourth round pick. He's a high caliber talent that they're looking to be a big part of their defense.
Well, I'm glad that he fell to the Steelers. That was the perfect fit.
Right?
I, however, am going with Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, I forgot. There's so many dang Georgia freaking players on this dang team. They might as well just change their name. But I think that he just benefits from the scheme. I know it's going to be probably a different scheme, but they have so much talent on the team. They were able to re-sign a lot of the players. Not too many people go. And I think that he also benefits from the fact that the offense is most likely going to be putting up points. So hopefully the team will be playing from ahead.
Yeah.
And he'll be able to just get those pass rushes in. It's a filthy line and linebacking core, so it should be good. I do want to note, though, I was going to pick there's somebody else, Tyree Wilson, that I was going to pick from the Raiders. I think that he has a chance because he's going to be opposite Max Crosby, so they're going to be paying a lot of attention to him. He's going to have an opportunity to kind of make a name for himself, so we'll see. That's my sleeper one, but I'm going to stick with Jalen Carter.
It's a good choice either way, but that's a sneaky one, like you talked about on the Raiders with Tyree Wilson, because it also depends on how good the Raiders really are. Are they fighting from behind, and it's just them on the defensive line, basically just trying to get as many sacks and get their stats up?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and if it is, I mean, it's as much as it is about production, it is stats as well. They are willing. The NFL is willing to. It's not like the NBA where it's just best player on the best team. That's who gets MVP.
True.
Yeah, I'm saying this one I feel like they're a little bit more strategic about giving these types of things, and you don't have to be on a great team to prove your worth. So that's the only thing I kind of would give it to him is I think maybe he might have a chance there. Moving on, though, to the opposite side of the ball, sticking with rookies, we're going to go to the offensive rookie of the year candidates. And Corey and I have chosen Zay and Addison, respectively. You chose Addison. You also drafted Addison in your fantasy draft.
Yeah.
So you really do believe in him double. Hey, you know what? You gave me crap for Tua Yeah, here you are picking an award and drafting him too. What are your
Okay,
thoughts on it?
but let's give me some credit here. Addison did win
Two
the
is brittle.
award in college of the best wide receiver in the country when he was in Pittsburgh, not when he was in SC. His last year in college,
Oh, okay.
where
At
he
Pitt.
played with,
Okay.
yeah, and had a really good year as well with Lincoln Riley in that offense. So I
Was
think
Kenny Pickett there?
actually he might have been, that might have been Pickett
Right?
there. Yeah, actually I think it was. And then
Because he
part of the
played.
thing
Oh,
too
mhm.
is going to Minnesota. Obviously, Justin Jefferson's going to take a lot of attention from the
A
defense. So I
lot
feel
of
like
attention.
Addison will have more one-on-one opportunities, especially as a rookie. They're probably not going to double team him to begin with. So I feel
Yeah,
like if he can get going early and get his confidence up, then he'll have a big year once the season's over.
I can see that. I went with Zay Flowers. We looked them up respectively, and they're basically the same. Obviously, we see here they're the same odds. I'm going to say that Lamar finally has the weapons that he's been looking for, apparently, or been needing, and they have a pretty high-powered offense already. And Lamar stays healthy, like you say. You, I believe, have him doing well this year.
Yes, I do.
So, and the Baltimore going far, obviously. So, I just have seen this kid, and honestly, when I was doing a little bit of research, I went and I looked up. Highlights of this guy. I'm not kidding you. Not knowing anything before, I knew that I've had heard his name, but I was like, I want to see what he looks like on the field. And dude, this kid can ball. When I was watching him, I was sitting here. I probably was in five minutes into the highlights, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, I know exactly who this is. This is Deshaun Jackson. So I
Oh,
went quickly and like looked it up. Deshaun Jackson, 5'10", 175. Zay Flowers, 5'9", 183.
so the same person.
Yeah, dude, he's shifty, he's fast, and he seems to run like really sharp routes. So I feel like he could be a nice over the top threat for Lamar on that offense, and I think that explosive plays garner attention. So
Yeah, and
if he can
that's
get enough of
definitely
them,
going to be a huge thing for him to have OBJ as the guy who's going to be running the shorter routes and
and Mark
inside stuff.
Andrews,
Oh, dang, I forgot about that. Yeah, so for him to just be able to run down the field and have it to himself, if Lamar has the time and from the offensive line protecting him, he can get it down there, then yeah, Zay Flowers going to have a huge year.
so and like you said, they're both like the third maybe receiver. And their teams respectively, Addison and Flowers. So less attention at least, and you
Yeah,
got
for sure.
big names, kind of garnering a lot of the other ones. So.
Yeah,
All right, let's
absolutely.
move on then. Moving on to the defensive player of the year. We've got Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. You've got who?
Miles Garrett. I've got the
All right.
Browns making the playoffs as a wild card team. I think a big part of that is that this defense is going to do what they need to do in order to. Because I mean, I like Deshaun Watson, and obviously last year with the suspension, there's a short, late year start, and how awkward the offense looked. So hopefully that'll be better. And if that's the case, and they can be in a lot of games, and the defense is going to be that much more important. I think the NFC North, all those teams kind of beat up on each other and are defensively built first a lot of the time. So I
Mhm.
think that's a huge part of it. And if they make it into the playoffs, then I think a huge thing of that is going to be Myles Garrett playing his ass off and having a huge year.
And the cool part about them playing in a difficult division is I feel like that does weigh, like I said, maybe not team success, but team opponents weighs heavily with
Oh
voters
yeah,
too. If he's getting Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow and disrupting these like high power, I know you have them making the playoffs, but I know you have the other two making the playoffs as well. So
yeah,
if he's getting these high, these teams high up in the AFC and he's knocking them around, and people just kind of take notice and add a little bit more to it. So I can see that. I like him. He was second in the odds at the plus 600 behind only my pick,
I was going to say
Micah
we both
Parsons.
didn't go off the board very far there, did we, on this one?
No, and honestly, when we were looking at it, I don't remember off the top of my head who they were. I mean, there's the obvious names of the TJ Watts, the Sauce Gardners, those types of players as well. But I've unless something drastic happens to these guys, knock on wood, I don't see it going to anybody but these two.
Yeah,
So I'm picking Micah. I think this guy is just a fucking animal, dude. I wanted to go with like an underdog. I mean, even Myles Garrett is more of an underdog being second, but I just couldn't do it. He's been talking a lot this offseason about how hungry he is. He doesn't want to just be a great linebacker. He wants to be the greatest linebacker.
yeah,
And he does all sorts of different things. He's kind of like a bigger Tyrann Mathieu. The Honey Badger can blitz. He can play safety. He can play man. But he's just a bigger version. He can't, maybe he don't guard receivers as well as Tyron could, but he also doesn't. He blitzes better than him because he's just huge. So I think he's hungry, and I think he's going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. And because the stats of the defense will be high, and he's going to be the leader of it, I think he'll be responsible for most of his team's success. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to Micah.
not a bad choice. The Cowboys had a great defense last year, and a big part of it was him. So if he can come back and have a big year, and the Cowboys especially are in it, which in the NFC East they definitely have a chance. A big part of it is going to be Micah Parsons having a good season.
100%. So, and honestly, you're the Browns getting to the playoffs. Myles Garrett is going to have to do a lot. So if he does, it's a great pick as well. We differ here, but we actually found one where we agree.
I was actually shocked we only had one that we had the same pick.
True. And we didn't do it on purpose. I was picking. No. I just picked whoever, and you just picked whoever. And this one, we both kind of agreed that the offensive player of the year, in our opinion, is going to be Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's hard not to think. I mean, a full season and camp and everything to get that offense that Mike Shanahan runs, which is good for his style of play and what he can do. Purdy's back. They'll have Kittle. They'll have Ayuk. They'll have Debo. I mean, they've got just weapons all over the field, and I expect McCaffrey to do a lot of the. I mean, it's just crazy to think
he's the head of the snake.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just last year he was only in 11 games with the Niners at the end of the season, and again, like I said, no camp, no like learning the playbook ahead of time. He's had a whole off season. He's got a preseason together. He's got a whole ton more of feel for this offense and what he's able to do with it than he
even
ever
a mini playoff run. That builds. Because that's tight conditions. You're really, those are inches. They literally were an arm away from really competing in that NFC title game. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I agree, obviously, with you. San Francisco runs through, the running game.
Yeah.
That's pun intended, I guess. But this guy is just electric, and I feel like he's just going to flourish. Like you said, he had 11 games with them, went into the postseason. A new full offseason with Shanahan, seems ready to just kind of shine. Only thing, praying for health, buddy. Please. We want to see you get through a full season, especially with this offense. We wanted to see him get through seasons with freaking Carolina, and they weren't doing anything. So
right
with these people, man, he could just be crazy. So I think that he could do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Like we said, 11 games last year, and he did a great job in those 11 games being thrown in there. So I expect a huge season.
100%. Moving on, coming back though to the comeback, we're doing comeback player of the year. We have Tua and Odell. The odds here might seem a little skewed, and it's because they are. I actually have Tua, and he is the second most likely player to win comeback player of the year at plus 2,000. Yes, that means a $100 bet gets you plus $2,000. The problem is that basically the award is already being handed out to Damar Hamlin. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it. I'm just hoping that his play deserves it, not just the fact that he's playing. I understand that is very important. I think we should applaud him for it. Yeah. But I don't think that we should take away the idea of the award and take it from somebody else just because he made it back to the field. And who knows really in what capacity? How many snaps does he even get?
That's,
So I'm going with Tua. So anyways, he's at minus 350. So again, these are a little bit of a stretch. It's most likely going to him, but I'm hoping he stays healthy. I'm thinking they lead him to the AFC East title, and I just think that he stays healthy, and that 7 games that he missed is now a complete season. Like, oh wow, great job. You're moving with.
It's not a bad pick on Tua because I mean, I think there was a stat where every game he started at one point they had basically won every game. So
yes,
if he's healthy and makes it through a whole year, then the Dolphins should be very good, especially with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and all that, all the weapons they have on that offense. My God,
100%. Yes, exactly. Fast, but you've got Odell.
Yeah, I feel like Baltimore is going to have a really good year. It just all kind of lines up. Odell's coming back. He's had a year and a half off basically from the injury in the Super Bowl with the Rams. He's out to prove. They have Zay Flowers, who you picked to be the offensive rookie of the year. And then now Lamar comes back with his contract. He's healthy. They have a new offensive coordinator who, from all the stuff we hear out of the beginning of preseason and everything, Lamar loves the new offense. They feel it. They're on the same page, him and the coordinator. They understand exactly what their game plan is and what they're doing. If that's the case, then I expect Odell to have a good year. I mean, he's had 1,000 yards or more in every season that he's played, double-digit games with the same team. When he's had a whole season with one team, he's played 10 or more games. And one of those years he was in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield's not even that good of a quarterback. So I feel like with Lamar, and Zay Flowers and all the other weapons they have, that Odell's going to have a nice year. And I think like coming after the ACL tear from the Super Bowl, which if he wouldn't have torn, he might have won the MVP of that Super Bowl.
Honestly,
So
he
here's his
was
comeback player of the
looking
year.
like it. And it's not too far off that a receiver would win it. Edelman won it when they won a Super Bowl.
There you go. See?
But yeah, so I've got I think I like them both. I don't think they're going to happen because obviously, but and again, I don't mean any negativity towards Damar Hamlin. It has nothing to do with him. It's more, I just want the essence of the thing to still be real and like really be, because of the play on the field is what won them the award, not just the fact that
I'm with you.
Which is still a blessing. So.
Yeah, no, but understandable, because if he, like you said, we don't know how many games he ends up playing. What if he only plays the first couple and then he's not as good as he once was, and they end up like kind of putting him on the IL or whatever that happens?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that doesn't. Like you said, I hope that he does play well and that he does have good numbers, and if he wins it, that's great. Then he deserves it. But I don't want it to just. Of course. You played 3 games and you came back from what you came back from, so we're going to give it to you just because.
Let me hand this to you. Right. Yeah. Agreed. Not a fan of that. So, but good luck to everybody this season. Not wishing negative on anyone.
No, the whole NFL, obviously, everybody, there's a ton of injuries. That's why the whole thing is next man up. But I don't know how those guys do it. They're gladiators, man. It's a gladiator sport.
100%, dude. So fun to watch. So we have 2 awards left. We've got Coach of the Year and MVP. Of course, we're going to save the best for last. So we're going to move on to MVP. No, I'm just kidding. Coach of the Year.
Imagine we're like, yeah, the MVP is not that important.
Yeah, Coach of the Year, though, most important one, just so you guys know. So we have Dennis Allen and we have Robert Saleh. You've got Dennis. I've got Robert. What's your case, my friend?
Well, we both picked the Saints to win the NFC South this season. Obviously, a big part of that's going to be Derek Carr. So I think that if the Saints can win the division coming from where they were last year, and Allen's been there, I think, the last couple of years since Peyton left. So he's got the defense that he understands, and they know their system. And their defense is actually usually pretty average, if not a little slightly above average. So if Carr can go in there with Michael Thomas, and once they get Kamara back in there, they have Jamal Williams there this year, their offense should be pretty good. And I think if they can win the NFC South and even be competing maybe for a 2 or 3 seed in the NFC, then I think Allen has to be at the top of the list for Coach of the Year candidates.
0 arguments there. You're right. I did pick them to win the division. I do have them, I believe, moving on in the first round as well. So I think they'll have a good team, and it's definitely possible. He is 9th at plus 2,000.
Well, I mean, nobody's picking the Saints to win it all, so I guess that's not that weird.
Oh no, yeah, no, I didn't mean it as anything, just kind of for the audience. I've chosen Robert Saleh, 5th at plus 1,600. What I'm basing this on is I'm just basically predicting a good year for the Jets. They had the HBO around camp. They have the new veteran quarterback. They're dealing with the craziness that comes with having Aaron Rodgers on your team. The New York media, it just breathing down your freaking neck constantly because, I mean, it's the Big Apple, right? There's all the media is there besides maybe here and obviously LA. There's other ones, but New York is the craziest one.
Yeah.
And if he can lead the Jets to the playoff berth for the first time in 13 years, yes, you heard me, 2010 basically, maybe 11. It's the last time they were in the playoffs. It's a long time ago, man. If they can do it, I'd say they hand it to him. Just because it's just like that's the Jets, man. Can you imagine getting the Jets? It's like just rebuilding that dumpster fire.
No, absolutely. And they, like you said, they've already been on Hard Knocks, so the story is being built from the get-go by the NFL and the league itself. So if they end up being this Cinderella story in a sense, because of where they came from last year with nobody at quarterback they trusted to Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, of course, then Saleh's going to be at the top of the list for sure.
I see that 100%. Yeah. Well, we've made it. Let's move to the favorite, the MVP, most valuable player of the NFL. Most of the time, they're quarterbacks. Do we have 2 quarterbacks, or are we predicting something crazy? No, we're not. No. It's definitely going to be a quarterback. Yeah. We do have 2 different quarterbacks, though, but it is still going to be a quarterback. We have Justin Herbert, and we have Lamar Jackson. I've taken Justin Herbert. You've got Lamar. You've got Lamar winning MVP and Odell winning Comeback Player of the Year. And spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the AFC prediction, the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. This is going to be a good year in Baltimore, no?
I'm telling you, everything is lining up. All the people are coming back from their contract issues, their injuries. They're out to prove people wrong. They've brought in the new coordinator. Like, I'm just telling you, everything I feel is good. I think that Lamar is going to have one of the best seasons and probably win his second MVP. I think that the Chiefs will be right there and possibly win the top seed over the Ravens. Maybe they'll, have a tiebreaker of some sort and have the same record. But I think that the Chiefs coming off the Super Bowl win and Mahomes already having an MVP and them coming back as the defending champs doesn't make it, unless he has like, Tom Brady, they went 16-0 kind of year, then I like our 17-0 kind of year, I get it.
Yeah.
But I expect Lamar to come out and just have a huge year individually and get this team like, I expect him to at least throw for 28 touchdowns, run for another 8, probably 3,000 plus passing yards, 900 plus rushing. Like, I'm hoping he just has a huge year. And again, like you said, I have him winning the MVP, but I also have the Ravens winning Super Bowl. So I think a lot of that team.
I think that's awesome. I have nothing against Baltimore, a fan of theirs. I like Lamar Jackson. I'm glad he got paid. I feel like he deserved it. I do think that athletes, and this has nothing to do with him or his mother, obviously. I do think that they should just have an agent, man. Even if it's just a different person outside the family that you trust, just because it just gets really personal and thinking what your value is, and sometimes NFL teams don't want to be completely honest, and they felt like his value was a little less because of his injury history, Not that his talent is less. I doubt that that's ever what they were saying. It's just that when he's only playing and missing 3-4 games at the end of each season, when it's the most important and into the playoffs, I mean, we don't want a 1 through 14 week quarterback. We want the guy at the end, or really the guy all the way through.
Speaking of, you're talking about that and talking about you picked Justin Herbert to win MVP, but you didn't even pick the Chargers to make the playoffs. Do you think he could have a great enough season to win MVP and them not make the playoffs?
Corey, I really didn't think of that. Okay, that's a really good point. That's a really freaking good point.
I actually scrolled back up to our thing and looked, and I was like, I don't remember him having the Dolphins even. No, they're not even in your playoff 7.
Well, I do have the Dolphins, but the Chargers.
I'm sorry, the Chargers. You don't have the Chargers in the playoffs, so how can you
Okay, so
have
maybe
an MVP?
I was freaking wrong about the Chargers in the playoffs. Either way, they wouldn't be coming out of the AFC anyway. So let's don't, good point. So, but I'll still build
on record,
because
man. So I'm just letting you know.
I think the stats can still be there, and then I guess they'll be in the playoffs. Let's give them a wild card seed. Let's kick out. I don't really care.
Oh man, now your AFC preview is worth nothing.
No, it's not worth nothing because technically I would have them losing in the first round. So really just look at from the second round on and everything would still be pretty much exactly the same.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
But I do think besides your horribly timed point that the first year with Kellen Moore is what really sets him up to succeed. And I think that that's pretty much what he's been missing. He hasn't really had somebody who's been able to take his talent and really expand upon it. But you can see what he's done with Dak, and a lot of people think what you may of Dak. I do think he's not as good as Justin Herbert. Look at these stats. In 2 years, with the 16 games played, so all of the games, because this was before 17, he threw for 4,902 yards. This is Dak. In 2019, and 4,449 yards in 2021. In the 3 years previous, before Kellen Moore got there, Dak averaged 3,600 yards per season in seasons where he played all 16 games. So basically an average of 1,000 less yards.
Wow.
Okay. Herbert has thrown for 4,336 yards, which was 39 yards short of the rookie record. And he only played in 15 games when Andrew Luck played in 16. So he would have broke it, but Tyrod Taylor started game 1. So he didn't get to play all 16. And has since thrown for 5,014 yards and 4,739 yards. Kellen Moore is basically he has freaking Mike Evans, Mike Williams. They drafted Quentin Johnson. They have Josh Palmer. They got Austin Eckler. Dude, Kellen Moore's going to go crazy. So I will have to bite the bullet and say that I was a tad incorrect in my AFC predictions, and Justin Herbert's Chargers should be in there somewhere. However, I would still have them losing in the first round. So, there's that.
All right,
that's what I'm thinking.
I like all our picks. Unfortunately, like we talked about earlier before we got on here, that we can't do a parlay for all the season award picks. They don't let you do that. Otherwise, we could really try to make some money, because we had some really good odds on some of them too. But
I did try, bro. We looked, and it's because what I basically found out is because they don't want to give you that good of odds.
Yeah.
If you predict all those right, they're paying you out like $1 million. So they kind of cap you at like a certain amount. I know, but they don't want it. They don't. They know we're right, man. They know we're right.
That's all right. But you know what? The worst case is at least we can know that football games are officially underway on Thursday night, and we get to start with the Chiefs. Obviously, the defending champs always start off the new season on Thursday night. They get to hoist their banner up and get their crowd at Arrowhead all pumped up and host the Lions. This is the first time that Goff and Mahomes have faced off since the last time when Mahomes and the Chiefs came to LA, actually back in 2018, to play the Rams at the Coliseum. This was supposed to be the Monday night game in Mexico City, I believe, but Shakira had a concert and totally messed up the field. There was a big
I was gonna say the field was trash, right? They literally,
Yes.
I think they fly there and then flew back because it was bad.
It was like within a couple days, they're like, "Oh no, we're going back to LA instead."
There's no way we're gonna break all our ankles and knees and
no.
playing
So
games.
go back to LA, play the game there instead, and this becomes that game 54-51. The Rams win. It's like a back and forth, just insane game, offense all
Shootout,
over
baby.
the place. So it's a matter of
shootout.
Does Pat Mahomes finally get his revenge and beat Goff this time?
Well, I think that we should pick sides.
No problem.
How about this? Who you got winning? I'll oppose it. Who you got winning? You got 60 seconds. Tell me why, who and why you have winning opening night Thursday. Chiefs Lions in Arrowhead.
I can do that in 60 seconds or less, no problem.
Okay, so who you got then?
Lions are going into Arrowhead. They're going to shock the world. First off, the team that wins the Super Bowl. And
wow, I thought I was going to have to defend the Lions. No. Okay, go ahead.
If you're going in to play the team that's defending champs, they're hoisting the banner. It's kind of like in the NFL and NBA where I feel like the banner hosting, if you're the team, sometimes it can get you a little caught up and you get a late start and maybe that kind of hurts you in the game. The Lions offense last year was ranked 8th overall by PFF. So if they can do and have their offense even remotely the same as it was last year. Now, I know they lost Jamal Williams in the free agency. He went to Detroit. But they signed David Montgomery, who the last 2 years was in Chicago, who was not very good. And in those the last two seasons, he averaged 800 rushing yards, 300 receiving yards, and 6 total touchdowns. So,
and they knew they were running the ball in Chicago. Justin Fields didn't have a half a second to throw it. So
yeah, the Lions have almost St. Brown on the outside. They have some actual weapons. And a decent defense I know their back end last year, their defense was ranked 29th overall by PFF, but the back end with the safety, Deshaun Elliott coming in and cornerback Mike Hughes, at least they're trying to address the back end and hopefully help. Because I think Aiden Hutchinson, who's their defensive end, I think he's a second or third year guy, he is a beast. And if he continues to do what he's doing, he's going to probably be a defensive player of the year award candidate, at least if not a winner in the future. So, and again, also the Chiefs defense isn't that great, especially if Chris Jones hasn't. If Chris Jones hasn't signed up yet, that's a huge miss and gives Goff more time in the pocket. So, and again, it's opening night. Anything can happen in the game one. Maybe this is the only game the Chiefs lose all season, for all I know. But I think this could be the one the Lions get it.
Okay. That was, you know what? I was actually, I was shocked again. I thought I was going to have to start defending the Lions here. But that was actually a pretty good case for it. I don't believe you again, but I'll take the Chiefs. The Chiefs take this, and I think they take this game on their way to a near perfect season, man, as they're going to get Chris Jones back. I believe that they're going to come to something. He's going to show up, and then probably by the end of the game, they're going to have freaking something signed, and that's when it'll be, noted that he just
game time decision, Chris Jones.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think he's going to play. I think they're going to do it. So basically, this is what I'm running with. There's two people that I just need to say: Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes is 31-7 at home. Andy Reid is 27-4 after a bye week. I know it's not a bye week.
But you get the extra
plenty of time to prep week. Exactly. Mahomes has also never lost in week 1 games. And he's won the only game that he's played against the Lions. Granted, completely different team. That was with Matt Stafford and everything. But he won that game. He's actually only lost 16 games in his entire career. Ugh. That same guy, Matt Stafford, actually lost 16 games in 16 weeks. Or 17.
I would say give him a week off. He had a bye. Come on.
True. Okay. All right. I don't think that it's one-sided, though, because I agree with you wholeheartedly that the Lions are good. I do think that they keep it close. I say Chiefs squeaking out 34-28.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a high-scoring game. I feel like both defenses aren't that good, so I don't have any issue with the score except for the fact I think it's going to be the other way around, that Kansas City is going to be losing.
Well, I don't think
I'm also the person who picked the Lions make the playoffs as a wild card. So, and I debated them winning the NFC North. So I just have a lot of high hopes, I guess, for them this year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I do think that they're going to be good. I have Jared Goff. I hope he does freaking good. I'm not playing him this week because I don't know. I mean, maybe I should. Like you said, who do I have?
Oh, Tua's playing LA. Chargers. In LA.
In LA.
Against that defense, they're pretty good.
I'll have to think about that one. I might play Jared Goff in a little shootout.
But
I do have him scoring 4 touchdowns.
McDaniels is pretty good, bro.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel, dude, that's what I'm saying, bro. He knows how to freaking score points. It doesn't really matter who it's against. So, we'll see. I guess we'll see. But I just know that I'm excited for it to finally start. Well, in the league the other day, it says like how many, like in the app, how many days are left. I was just like, wow, it's single digit days, and now we're even less. It's tomorrow's freaking Tuesday already. We just have Tuesday, Wednesday. When we wake up in 2 days, 2 more sleeps besides tonight.
It'll be
That's
football season.
It's football season. So I know we've talked a lot about football though. Let's kind of take a break from it, even though I freaking love it. Let's get into another sport though that I love, basketball. What's not necessarily NBA?
No, not yet.
NBA players to talk about, but what's going on with the FIBA tourney?
Well, the U.S. Finally lost a game in the tournament to Lithuania the other day, 110-104. It was close. I know they were down at halftime, so they turned most of the game. I don't know. It's just kind of weird that they even lost. I kind of expected them to walk through the tournament, but do you think this means they still could win the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's doubtful that they lose. Let me put it that way. I think this. I'm hoping. Let me put it. Okay, I'm hoping this was a wake up call. They really do need to figure out like what their lack of size. What I saw from this game is they have giants, and we are short. Not short to like average people. Obviously, these guys are all over 6'5" probably, but a lot of Lithuania, we got out rebounded 43-27, dude. We got outraged by 16, and we only lost the game by 6 points.
Yeah, see, that's
110-104. The problem is, dude, besides we have Walker Kessler as the backup. No offense to Walker Kessler, but he's barely in the NBA. Okay?
Well, I would say he's a kid compared to some of these men that are playing for Lithuania.
True, that too. Plus, we have soft rules over here in the States now. The NBA, actually, after watching this, the NBA, everyone talks about Europe soft. No, the NBA is soft, dude.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Europe plays like how I would rather have watched basketball be played. But either way, what the problem is when Jaren Jackson Jr. gets in foul trouble. He's great, and he could be our big man as long as he's there. I think we're fine. But dude fouls out almost every game, and it has nothing to do with whether or not it's only 5 in FIBA. Fouls out every game in freaking NBA 2, and it's 6, so he gets 1 freaking more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just too much, man. So I think we lost control of the boards. We weren't able to stop the pick and roll. He's defensive player of the year, right? So
yeah,
I mean, that's what we need, and he wasn't available. So hopefully it's a wake up call, and hopefully we can get back on track with I think the next game's at Italy. Or not at Italy, but
versus Italy. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. This has got to be one of those wake up call games where you're in the pool stage still, so it's not single elimination. You took your foot off the gas a little bit, expecting to just walk over them.
Cruise.
Obviously, a big part of it, like you talked about, was the rebounding. And if Jaren Jackson Jr. is fouling out, the 5 fouls shouldn't even be an issue. If we just talked about in the FIBA, they're allowed to play more physical and shove a little more. So then
that's so true too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's so true.
Fouls that quickly and getting fouled out of games.
Is he just fouling that hard?
Yeah, right?
I mean, again, some of these games are at 4 a.m., so I'm not watching them. But I do watch the highlights. But they don't show highlights of the fouls. So.
No, definitely not. But no, I'm with you. I think this is one of those. It's a wake up call. They probably don't lose a game the rest of the tournament, and end up winning the whole thing. It kind of that's usually what happens again when you're in the pool play, and you don't need to win every single. If you win the first 1 or 2, and whatever, if we can do whatever. 3 too. Yeah, exactly. So I think they're going to be fine overall, but I think it was one of those like, oh, blip on the radar, like what just happened, or why did we let that one slip away or get through our hands?
Exactly. You can't just cruise. These guys, as much as they may not be as good, and some of these people don't play in the NBA, they still practice basketball and play professionally in their respective, countries and leagues. So not everybody here is just some slouch. It's not me and you suiting up for the national team. You know what I mean? Like these guys know basketball. Again, they may not be NBA ready, but if you play as a team, you can lose as a team, no matter how good the individual players are. So.
Yeah, which one of the teams that comes out of the tournament, at least with a positive, even if they don't win it, obviously, is Canada. Team Canada, by winning enough games in this tournament, it now qualifies for the Olympics next year in 2024 in Paris. I mean, you look at their roster, they got some decent young NBA players. RJ Barrett, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Lugans Dort, Dwight Powell's not young, but
SGA.
and then Kelly Olynyk and even Dylan Brooks is not a terrible player, I guess.
Bro, that's an $80 million a year or $80 million contract player,
I don't know
bro.
if I want all
That guy's
his,
a G.
I don't know if I want all
Nice.
this for $80 million on my team, but that's a different thing for a different day in the
Come
NBA.
on.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the other thing too is not only that they didn't have Jamal Murray in this FIBA tournament. So if Murray,
True.
they just won the
that's pretty
NBA
good.
Finals. He decided, I
Oh, he
just came
took
off
some
the
time off.
injury. I'm going to take a summer to get ready. But next year in Paris,
Makes sense.
now that Canada's in, I would expect him to show up, and maybe that gives Canada an opportunity to really get past the pools.
Okay. Wait, do you think when was the last time they went?
2000, actually.
2000.
It's been a while.
Okay. I mean, I know they're not every year, they're every 4 years, but that's
still six
that's
worth
4
of Olympics. Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Okay. Well, 5. Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah. So, well, so I have a question for you. Do we send better players to the Olympics? Like, no offense to our team here, but like, is Jason Tatum going to be on Olympic squad? Are we getting players like that are our top players? Do they play in Olympics more?
There'll probably be a couple guys swapped out for other players. It also depend on what those teams do. Like if Tatum and the Celtics will go all the way to the finals and win or something, does he then want to turn around and go to Paris right away and play the Olympics? Which I hope that's the case. I hope he doesn't win and he wants to go to Paris.
Okay, thank you. Don't even say that. Oh, you almost made me throw up.
Unfortunately, the Celtics are going to be decent in the East, so we have
Getting
to. But
hot in here.
Is Milwaukee going to play all the way to the finals, and then does Giannis want to go play for Greece at that point, or that going to come into play? Same thing with Murray. Maybe Murray and the Nuggets go back-to-back finals, and he decides not to play in Paris after all.
Yeah, maybe that happens. Yeah, maybe aliens come too.
Yeah, you never know. Crazy shit happens.
True. So if we send better players, and we send our best, like again, I know sometimes. Then we take it. No question. Canada schmanada, bruh.
Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about
But
Canada
good for them.
beating us. But, yeah,
good
for sure.
them.
It's good to have Canada represented at least in the Olympics and basketball.
Agreed. Yeah, I guess. They can show back. They have a pretty good team, and I like a lot of the players individually, at least, especially Shea. Shea's probably one of my favorite players in the league. So love to see him play. Yeah, he's balling right now, dude. That team's lighting up teams. They're beating teams by like 30. I've seen. So,
dude, I'm just telling you, Oklahoma City's gonna be good too because these players, when they go play in the Olympic FIBA stuff, they come back. They tend to have a good season. And SGA with all the Chet Holmgren and pieces they have down with Giddey and Oklahoma City, they could be a real threat to get into the top 6 teams.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Another top team who is a big threat, the Atlanta Braves, getting out. We're still in a sitting motion right now for baseball. There's not kind of our previous episode where we reviewed the playoff races and kind of where we're at right now in an update. Still a little the same, but we really wanted to touch on a couple things, and mostly just the Braves. They're continuing to show that they're number one, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the battle of coming to LA for a 4-game series are the 2 best teams in the National League. And honestly, the 4 top candidates for the MVP in the NL are on these 2 teams. You have Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, and Ronald Acuña Jr. All 4 of them are on these 2 teams. So really, if one team comes out of this and one player comes out of this after a 4-game series, maybe that kind of gets that person on the top as far as the MVP favorite. Because I know for a long time Acuña was there. I think Betts had just taken over him a week ago in Vegas as the favorite. But I got to think Acuña's back on top after this weekend. I mean, they come into town. They win 3 out of 4. Acuña has a home run each of the first 3 games, and now is the first player to have 30 home runs and 60 stolen bases in a season, which is kind of crazy to think about. He's being the first one in over 100 years of baseball.
That's awesome, dude. That is so freaking cool. Yeah, I think he should. I mean, I think it kind of seals it. A lot of times when you get to see them play head to head, even though this is probably the one sport where they are obviously not head to head, similar like at least with basketball, you do play on the same court at the same time, and you might be able to guard each other. Even football, like they say head to head, like when their quarterbacks are facing it. But something about baseball, it's not as head to head, but at least on the same field. And when you can see somebody do something extraordinary, something exceptional, home runs and stolen bases, it's something that's never been done. The sport's been around for over 100 years, man. So the fact that he's doing something that's just now been done is pretty remarkable. So, I mean, I hope he wins it. I think he deserves it. He was the guy, right? It wasn't him. It wasn't Albies, right? He was hurt, right? Didn't he miss like a year? Or didn't he miss like
they won the
playoffs?
World Series, he was not on the roster in the playoffs. He did not play.
Yeah.
So technically he has a ring, but he didn't have anything to do with the actual playoffs and World Series run. But I would think if he continues what he's doing now, they're going to have a chance at getting that run this year with him. But the craziest part about this too is before the first game when he hit the home run to get that record, him and his girlfriend, now wife, got married that day in LA at a courthouse.
Oh, congratulations.
Like, let's get that taken care of because
What a good day then,
right?
dude.
Like, she's from another country. Her visa was going to expire and she would have to go back. So they decided, let's just get married now at the courthouse, get this taken care of. I mean, they have 2 kids together. They've been together a long time. It was more of a formality. But still, to get, like, go do that and take care of that and be in that mental state, and then to go to a game, hit a home run, a grand slam on top of that to, break that record.
Seal that record,
help your team to win 3 out of 4. That's a heck of a weekend.
Because I saw a stat previous, like last week, where he had got into the club of 2060, 20 home runs in 60. It's been obviously a couple weeks, and there's only a few people in that, but 0 people in the 30-60. So props to you. I did see, though, that Freddie Freeman did you see that the Dodgers and Freddie Freeman gifted him a base?
Yes, I did see that. And it's crazy that it was Freddie that did it, because obviously Freddie played with him in Atlanta before. But there was that whole thing when Freddie first left that, like, there was like a weird thing that people thought him and Acuña didn't get along for some reason. But obviously that's all been squashed, and you can tell that that's not the case. I mean, Freddie's kid's favorite player is Acuña, so there's no way that that's possible.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I remember seeing videos when he was in Atlanta, and Freddie, I feel like, would ask him questions about who's your favorite player, and be like, Acuña Rano, or something like that. I feel like he always kind of said that. So I can see what you're talking about. Yeah, see, that's really cool. I'm glad that the Dodgers and Freddie Freeman kind of took the time. It's a pretty classy move. As much as I, like to rag on the Dodgers, it's a pretty classy move, and I think that's pretty cool that they did that. So
yeah, absolutely. It's just the best thing to do for an all-time great like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. More all-time greats making big stamps, big marks, even more on their legacy this weekend. Prime time Deion Sanders, bro. Coach Deion.
Coach Prime.
You watched that Colorado TCU game, dude?
Actually, I was lucky enough. I had no audio at the team store while I was working on Saturday because they're working on the system. But we do have a bunch of TVs, and I can control what we watch. And that was definitely one of the games I had on a 4 or 5 of the TV. So wherever I was walking, I could at least
4 or 5 of the TV.
Hey, man, I want to be able to see it anywhere I'm walking around in the store.
Hey, makes sense.
But I didn't get to watch every single moment, but I did watch a lot of it. It was a lot of back and forth. It was a great game. I just wish I would have been able to see or hear more of it, I guess, of the audio, because I know Gus Johnson was the play-by-play guy, and he always does a great job with these big games.
Well, I watched most of it as well. Watch the replay, watch the highlights, watch the interviews afterwards, watch this, watch that. It was fantastic, dude. I just think it's so awesome. What sucks is, dude, I wish that, I don't know, I know it's like everything's supposed to happen right for probably some sort of reason, but I really wish that Colorado would have been able to bring in Prime like 2 years ago, maybe save the Pac-12. Who's not giving the Pac-12 a freaking TV deal when Deion Sanders is one of the coaches of the teams?
Yeah,
come on, dude.
Yeah, they missed out on that opportunity on timing.
So it kind of sucks because now everybody's watching. I know that Travis Hunter, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and Shedeur Sanders are now the most bet candidates for Heisman over the past 24 to 48 hours because of the game on Saturday. All sorts of things are happening, but it's hard not to fight the way they fought. Real quick, let's frame it for the people who don't even know. TCU was in the national title game last year. Granted, they got shellacked, but Georgia's insane. So, but they beat Michigan, not easily, but you could tell they were the better team. They deserved the win. And then they were in the title game. They lost a couple of their players, of course, the quarterback, and I know a good receiver, maybe a couple of other people here and there. But they're basically a very similar team coming in, starting ranked 17th at home in 100-degree heat. And they lose to an unranked Colorado team who this is their first game with Coach Prime. But like I said,
there's been a lot of talk about it too. It's not like this is a game that nobody talked about on the schedule, and then Colorado came in out of nowhere. Prime has been talking about it. The team's been talking about it. Social media has been a buzz about it the last 2 weeks moving up to this game. Obviously, Fox putting it with Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt, their number one calling announce team. I mean, that's where it is right there.
They knew.
Yeah. Travis Hunter, man, like you said though, is, as Deion said, he is like nobody else. He is him. He's him. It's crazy to watch. I mean, obviously we know that Prime in his day did both sports in NFL and MLB, but to be on both sides of the ball now, this kid, Hunter, I mean, he kind of...
Before you get into it.
Okay, go ahead.
But I want to show the audience why these kids did what they did, bro.
That's a good point, yeah.
You sent me this speech, and I messaged you back. I was ready to run through a wall, okay? Watch this, and then I'm glad that you bring up all, because this dude's insane, but I want the audience to see who and why Deion is who he is and what he's doing. Okay, listen to this pregame speech and tell me you're not ready to go smash helmets with anybody on that field out there. Okay,
Let's do it.
Usually God give me a word long before this, but he's been holding it. Because it's not about them. This is about us. This has nothing to do with the team that's opposing us. This is about us. This ain't got nothing to do with the naysayers, the unbelievers, the haters, the doubters. This is about us. When we started this journey, we told you it was going to be trying. It was going to be tough, but you endured because it's about us. That man next to you is a miracle. That man next to you is a believer. That man next to you is a go-getter. That man next to you is a dog. That man next to you is somebody who wants this thing. That man next to you is somebody who believes. That man next to you is somebody that got to have it today. We ain't got tomorrow. We got now. We ain't got next. We got now. We ain't coming no more.
we're here, bro.
Give me my theme music.
Dude, what?
Oh my gosh, man. I love this guy, bro. This dude, I'm pumped, bro. I don't know if you can see it. I got some
dude, I'm with you, man. That
is awesome.
And the fact that he says, give me my theme music. Like, what?
Bro, that's so G. That's what I love. Remember when we on our personal episode, it's our first YouTube one. Go check it out. Learn a little bit about us. He's one of 5 people I have at a dinner table.
That's true.
Past or present. Go check out who the rest of them are. But he is one of them, and that is kind of one of the reasons why. Not only he's just so smooth, dude. He's just my gosh. Tell me that wasn't awesome.
It was, and it's no wonder that Hunter went out and had a day he did after hearing all that. I mean, him and Schroeder did. I mean, Hunter had 11 catches for 119 yards on the offensive side. Then he also played defense and had an interception and 3 tackles, played a total of 139 snaps. That's crazy.
In an interview afterwards, she the lady who was asking the questions for whatever the broadcast, who was it? CBS, Fox? You said
Fox. Yeah.
So she asked him, she said, 139 snaps. Are you tired? He said, nah, ready to play another game line now. Let's go. He put his helmet on. He was like, I was like, dude, bro, this guy's a beast. But you saw before the game, he posted that thing, Heisman loading.
Yeah, he did. They were, dude.
I guess he wasn't kidding, bro.
No, it's hard not to. Dude. It's hard not to look at those. And then, I mean, Prime's son, his numbers just 38 of 47, 510, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean. But the biggest question comes, though, this is great for them to do this and come in and upset TCU, and no one expects them necessarily to do so. Right. But now that the pressure is on and you've won and you're talking all the smack and you got all the attention on you, are they for real, or is this we're going to see if they get 6 wins and even get bowl eligible in the first place?
Well, they have to handle Nebraska next. They're basically taking on a Big 12 schedule since that's what they're going next year. Even though I think Nebraska is one of the teams that's leaving. Still, I think they're going to the SEC, right? Texas and
I believe
no,
so.
Oklahoma. Texas.
Oh,
and Oklahoma.
yeah, Oklahoma.
Sorry. So yeah, no, not Nebraska. So yeah, they're basically taking on a Big 12 schedule. They're getting ready for it this year. Might as well. And if they can take care of Nebraska, it's at home, so it wouldn't be on the road. But 100 degrees in Texas, and you handle your business, man. And I love it, dude. But yeah, they need to keep it going. They need to start next week, obviously. It's really important to keep it going, get that 2-0, and we'll see how they do against the Pac-12 teams. If they compete and beat USC,
dude,
I'll take it. That's the goal, because that's the one that's probably the highest ranked team that they'll probably. I haven't looked at their schedule, so I could obviously be wrong.
Yeah,
but my guess is that's the highest ranked team that they'll play, because I don't think anybody in the Big 12 is ranked higher. I think going into this week they were 6.
At this point.
Yeah, so USC was 6, I think, going into this week. I mean, they won 66 to who knows what. Caleb Williams looked awesome. So I don't think anybody's higher than them. So depending on how that team goes, I think that's week 5 of the college football season. So it's not too far away, man. We don't have to wait, too long.
No, not at all. It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, week 5. You got 5?
I got 5.
I got 5.
Let's start on
I got 5
segment.
on it. on it. New segment, man. So let's kind of, I mean, for the YouTube audience, you kind of saw a little snippet of what it is. But our new segment, we got 5 on it. I got 5 on it. We're each going to put $5 down. This is what we're going to do. We got 5. We're picking 5 NFL games. We're picking 5 money lines of those NFL games. Just picking straight winner, no spreads or anything. And we're each putting $5 down on it. We're going to hopefully get good at this. Maybe be some people you could take advice from. That's the goal, definitely. And see if we can make a little bit of money.
Heck yeah, that's what we're all about, is making the money.
That's what it's all about, baby. And let's get started with our first selection of what our I got 5 on it week 1 parlay is. On the screen for the YouTube audience, you will see it. But we will run down, I agree, dude. But we will run down what they are for the audio-only audiences. I'll take the first couple. You round it out for me, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right, we got the Ravens hosting the Texans. We're taking Baltimore all day. We have Philly going to New England. We're still taking the Eagles. NFC champs are still coming out on top. We got the Jets. This is going to be our big upset one. We get their host in Buffalo. We're going to take the home team.
Feel good about those. But we're going to round them out with another road win. We're going to have Jacksonville going to Indy. Obviously, with Anthony Richardson as a rookie quarterback in Indy, we expect Jacksonville to go in there and take care of business. Yeah. And the last one is going to be the Vikings hosting the Buccaneers and taking care of business. Baker Mayfield at quarterback going into Minnesota. I feel like that defense is going to take care of business and eat him up, and Kirk Cousins will just do his thing, and hopefully Jordan Addison will have his first big game going on the way to his offensive rookie of the year.
Are you playing him?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at my rosters yet and set my lineups. I haven't gotten that far. I've only added a kicker to the roster, so I can now have a kicker. But that's about as far as I can.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we did a draft one. That's good. Yeah, so our $10 wins $68 here. Odds are, we picked some teams that are maybe some gimmies. Obviously, the Ravens hosting the Texans, but we're building a parlay for a reason. We're not picking just one, trying to win money off of it. We're going to pick some ones that are going to be a little bit less crazy, and some of them that are, like the minus 490 we've got here. But we're also going to try to pick maybe an upset here or there. And we're going to try to do this as often as we can. This is going to be our new segment that we've got 5 on.
I got 5 on it.
It's a classic song, man, but it works for this as well. That's why I like it.
It's the best way to wrap up another episode for us here. I don't know, man. How'd you feel about today's episode?
I liked it a lot. I like this new segment, dude. I'm super into gambling. I don't live
just
in
get
California.
Illegal here.
I don't live here gambling. Nope. Yeah, so I do wish that I wish I could do a little bit more, but I love it. And I don't love the gambling necessarily for the win, because I'm not really into like money per se, but I love the idea of guessing and getting stuff right. That's kind of like what I enjoy about it. And the money is obviously kind of just something, but I'm not really fond of losing it, so I don't bet too often. But $5, dude, $5 for a fun segment like this, I think we could do it. And if we win, then that's our pot of money to just keep doing the $5, so we can just keep it growing.
Exactly.
Hopefully we can win you guys money too. Yeah, true. Hopefully we win the audience some money too. If we start getting good at this, feel free to match the parlays. That's free money for you.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best way to do it. Well, now that we have football, like we talked about, starting on Thursday, obviously with the long Labor Day weekend we have a short week. How's your week looking, man?
Nice and short for work. That's the best part about having Monday holidays, is that we don't have to go right back in, and we only got 4 days left. Oh, why you have to work on Saturday? Well, I guess I'm kind of lucky. I definitely don't have to. Only a 4-day work week, going into the office twice, so it shouldn't be bad. I get to hang out with my dad. He's still up for the week for a little bit, so that just seems to be a normal week. Oh no, take that back. Tomorrow, going back, finally getting back into swimming.
Oh,
nice. Free session at the Y. I'm gonna check it out, see if I like the spot, and kind of go from there. So other than that, normal week. You?
Nice way to finish it with the swimming back on top. Not a whole lot going on this week as far as outside of work. I got a couple day shifts. The big one is I got to work a Gwen Stefani concert on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
It is the official kickoff of like the 30th anniversary celebration of Honda Center and the Anaheim Ducks. She is a Orange County native, so they're having
Oh, yeah,
her
true.
as the artist. This is a one-off show. It's not part of a tour. It's literally just for us as a 30th anniversary celebration kickoff. And I believe a small portion of the ticket sales go to Chalk Hospital, so that's also a bonus.
Oh,
so
even better.
I got to be there probably, I'm going to guess 14 to 16 hours a day, so it'll be a long day, but hopefully we make a lot of money, and it's a good show, because at least I can hear the show while I'm there.
True. And I'm not the biggest Gwen fan, but I don't not like her song.
No,
and
I feel
No
like
Doubt was good, and she had
I was going to say there's going to be
songs.
some No Doubt songs they play for sure.
Has to be.
All good for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be cool. Well, that sounds good, man. That sounds good. Another great show, though. I'm having fun doing this, man. You?
Yeah, I think the more we do it, the better we're getting. Now that we have the YouTube version for everybody to watch us and not just hear us on Spotify. But to wrap us up, remember to find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you can search us on YouTube of Our View from the Bench.
Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at OurViewFTB. But leave some comments down below. Let us know what you want us to talk about. I mean, we're going to talk about kind of what we want anyways, sports in general, but anything specific you want us to touch on, anything you like, we'd love to talk to you. We'll definitely give you comments back. But other than that, thanks for seeing things from Our View from the Bench. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. And like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.